Hi everyone, welcome back to Crochet Rocks and another granny square for the year of granny squares. This time it's a great Easter project or summery project. So the chicken scissors are very apt in this occasion. So I'm going to make a sunflower granny square and then show you a cute little project with that at the end. So I'm using a 4.5mm crochet hook because this yarn that I'm using is all DK weight, and obviously you'll need a darning needle. There's not many ends really, you can work them in, and if you make the project you can bury them on the inside, and you need a pair of scissors. Okay, so to start with we're going to use the brown yarn for the center of our square. So I'm just going to move those aside. Let's move them right over so they're not in shot, distracting anyone when they want to roll. Okay, so this yarn that I'm using is a DK weight, as I said, and this is from my own stash, but I do stock this in my shop, hobbyrocks.co.uk, if you haven't found it already. I'll try and remember to put a link in the description box to all the products that I have here today, because I do sell all of them. Okay, so to start with, we're going to make a magic ring or a magic loop, magic circle, whatever you want to call that. I don't know, everybody has different names. So to do that, mine is very simple. I just make a loop and then I pop my hook inside that loop and bring the yarn through the loop. I'll show you again. I make a circle like a loop and then I just pop my hook in, bring the yarn through, and then one chain secures it, and we have our magic ring, magic loop, magic circle, magic whatever you want to call it. Okay, so my first stitch then is going to be the stack. So I'm going to make what we call in the UK a double crochet or a single crochet in the US. And then this post at the side, I'm going to insert my hook into there, yarn over and pull up the loop, and then yarn over and pull through both. So now I'm up to the height of a UK treble or US double crochet. So inside this ring, working over the tail, I'm going to put a further 15 stitches, and they are UK treble crochets or US double crochets. Now this tutorial, I will just assume you know how to do these. If not, I do have an absolute beginner's course that tells you all of those stitches. Okay, so because it will be boring to watch me just doing all these UK trebles, it also means I'll lose count. So I'm going to pause the video and I'll catch up with you once I've completed all of those UK trebles or US doubles. Okay, so I have 16 altogether, including the stack at the start. Now in the UK, that's called a stack double crochet. In the US, it's a stack single. So I just call it the stack, therefore there's less confusion. So now, because I did that stack, I have 2 loops at the top to go into, the same as any other stitch along, and I'm going to use a slip stitch to join, and then I'm just going to end this colour. And I've buried my scissors, which wasn't very clever. Here we are. I'm just going to cut this yarn and pull that through and end off that colour. Okay, so at this point, if you want to, you can give on your tail a little tug and close the ring. It will work its way loose again, it doesn't matter. It will stay like that until we've secured it, and then that's the only time it will kind of disappear. So if you wanted to, you could secure now by sewing in your ends as you go, but I tend to like to work over mine. Couldn't find my hook then. That wasn't very clever. So I'm going to clear the brown away and bring in my next colour, which is this gold colour. So this is special DK in the colour of Saffron. I love this colour. It's one of my favourites. It's just so pretty. Now, just bear with me a second. I'm going to pause the video while I get all this set up, and I'll be right back with you. That's better. I just wanted to bring in my wool genie because it's a lot easier when you have the genie. So I'm just going to join in any of my stitches, and I always try to make sure I don't join at the same spot if I can help it. Okay, so in this part, we're going to make some puff stitches. Okay, so I will make one chain. It's not going to count for anything, but I just want to get up a little higher. So I'm going to yarn over and pull up loops 3 times. So I'm going to yarn over, go into that same stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, and I want to make it tall. Okay, I'm going to do that again. And another time. And now I should have a total of 7 loops. They're a bit difficult to see, but let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm going to yarn over and pull through all of those and do a chain to secure that. And that's our first puff stitch. I do apologise, the brown is a little harder to see, but it is a sunflower, so I do need to have the brown. And I'm just going to move this down a little bit in case I go off camera at all. Okay, so apart from that one chain to secure it, we're not going to chain in between. Excuse me. We're going to do a puff stitch in every single stitch around. So again, that's pulling up 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Do a chain to secure that and go into the next one. Show you one more time. Pull up once, pull up twice, pull up 3 times, and chain to secure it. So I want you to do that in every single chain all the way around. So you will have 16. Do be careful with your join. Make sure you're not going to get too many or too few. And I'm going to pause the video now. I'll catch up with you when we get back to this point and we will do our join. Okay, so I have finished, I've done my chain, and now I'm going to slip stitch into this one here, not this side piece, but this one, the top stitch. And now I'm going to just end off this colour again. So what I did was I worked over the 2 tails that I had. I just need to snip this one off because I've worked over that. See what I mean? At the end you'll just have this tail and the one that ends it if you work over them like that. So now we have excuse me, well, now we have this kind of cute little flower. I'm going to use a different colour for the next part and put that with one side. And for this one I want a nice pale one, so I'm using this Price Wise Buttermilk. Like I said, all of these are in my shop and I have a link and a voucher code in the description box. The hooks I'm using, the scissors I'm using, everything is there. So, okay, I'm going to attach this exactly the same way. So I'm just going to, because I'm going to join it between a stitch, I don't need to bring in a loop. So I'm just going to tie this on. I like to tie it extra security, so you just tie it in between any of the puff stitches that you've got, any of them. I'm going to make 2 because I can. Okay, isn't it nice and secure? I nearly picked up my pen to crochet with. It's been a long morning. Okay, I'm going to make some kind of bobble stitches now, but they are really in the UK treble 5 together, or in the US double 5 together. So I'm going to start off by bringing in my loop, okay, and I'm going to, I think I want to start this with a stack. I did make notes, bear with me a second. I wrote it as I went. Doesn't say, but I'm sure I did start with the stack. So I'm just going to go into the side of this chain this time though, and bring up, it's not really going to work, is it? It's going to make another chain. I know, just do 2 chain this time, doesn't matter. I only want to get up to the height. I don't really want it to be quite a fat stitch, so I'm going to do the chain. Okay, so what am I going to do? I'm going to go in, pull up a loop, and I'm going to pull through 2, but I'm going to stop there. I'm going to yarn over, go back in, pull up a loop, go through 2, and stop there. Yarn over, go back in, pull up a loop, go through 2, and stop there. Hang on, just need to get more yarn out. Okay, and I'm going to yarn over, go back in, pull up a loop and pull through 2. So now I should have 5 on my hook, and now I'm going to go through all 5 of those, and I'm going to chain 1 to secure that and then do a chain. And that's what I'm going to do in every single space around. Obviously this time round there's no chain, so it should be easier. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's actually 4, isn't it? I've got 5 on my hook, a chain to secure it, and a chain. So there we go. We're going to do that in every single space all the way around. I'll pause the video and I'll catch up with you when I get here, but I'll just show you one more while we're together and then I will pause it. If I go too fast for you, then by all means just pause the video and catch up with me. 5 on my hook, a chain to secure it, and a chain. Okay, so I'm going to pause it then and I will catch up once I get back to the start. Okay, so I've gone all the way around, and now just as before I'm going to join it at the top of the stitch and end off this colour. I like to leave a nice long tail, even though I do work them in, just in case I have to sew one. Okay, so I'm now going to finish with that yarn, and I'm just going to bring in this cream colour, which is what I'm going to finish with. You can finish obviously in a nice green or a blue or anything you want, but for my little project I wanted the cream. Okay, so now we're going to join at any space again, and you can join any way you want. I'm just going to cinch my chain down. Okay, so now I'm going to start with a stack just as before. So make a UK double, US single, go in the side bit, pull up my loop and make my stack, and 2 UK trebles, US doubles in the same space. Now what this is half a corner. Okay, normally speaking now I would be taking this yarn with me and working it in, but I don't want to cause any confusion, so I'm just going to leave that one as a one I have to sew in, which is a bit ugh. Okay, I had a bit of a malfunction. So this is half a corner, and now we're going to make this circle a square, and we're going to do that by different size stitches. So in this next one, in fact I will work over this tail. If it doesn't work I can always pull it out. I'm going to do 3 UK half trebles, which is a half double in the US. So it's kind of making a granny square, but we're not using the same stitches. We're going to use stitches to make this a square. So in the next one I'm going to do 3 UK double crochets, which are single crochets in the US, and as you can see that's having the effect of flattening it. Now in the next one I'm going to repeat this along, so half trebles, and now we're going to do an actual corner. So we're going to start by doing 3 UK trebles or US doubles, and 1 chain and another 3 in the same space. And now we're just going to mimic this all the way along this side. So in here, 3 half treble, half doubles. And I'll tell you, I'm just going to feed this tail along a little so I can work over it. And now, because I've done the half trebles, I'm going to do the UK doubles or US singles. just as I did along that first edge. And now we're back to the half trebles. And let's have a look. So that is actually, it's not perfect square yet, but it's getting there. So I'm going to repeat this all the way around. In this one here, I'm going to do a full corner and then half trebles, which are half doubles. I'm going to do my UK double crochets, which are singles, then the half trebles again, full corner, and go all the way along. So I'll pause the video now and I will catch up with you when I get back to here and we've finished this corner off. Okay, so I've made it all the way around, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to join to the top of my first stitch, which was the stack there, and I'm going to do it with a UK double crochet or a single in the US. That just gives me the same distance gap between my corner as a chain does, so it kind of completes it. So you could end there, that's not bad as a square goes, but I think for this one, because I want to turn it into another little project, I'm going to do one row or round of UK double crochets, US singles. So into this space here I'm going to put 2, and now I'm just going to do 1 in every single stitch all the way along until I get to the corner, all the way along. Oh, didn't go between, yes I did. I thought I didn't go between the stitch. So all the way to the end of this row or side, the end of this side. I think it looked quite square as it was. It's quite surprising, really. Now we're at the corner. We're going to just do 3 in that corner. The first one, we did 2. And now 1 all the way along the side. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm just going to put 1 stitch all the way along, 3 in this corner, 1 stitch all the way along, 3 in this corner, and 1 stitch all the way along, and I'll catch up with you when I get back to the start again. Okay, so I've made it all the way along. Now I'm back at my corner. I'm going to do 1 more stitch into that corner and then slip stitch into the next one, a little bit tight, and end off. So for my project that I've decided to do with this granny square, I'm going to need 2. So that's the end of the square tutorial, and you can do anything you want with these squares, of course, and you could choose any colour for your border. But if you want to make the project with me, then that'll be the next part of this video. Thank you for watching. Okay, so for the project then, I have left a really long tail when I finished off this particular square, and I'm going to threadle a darning needle with that. Oh, I think I've left a bit of a much too long tail. So what we want to do is we want to take 2 of our squares, and these are the right way. We want them back to back. So you're looking at the right side there, you're looking at the right side there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew these together all the way along this edge, along this edge, and along this edge, but I'm going to leave the bottom open. So all I'm going to do is using the corresponding stitch here is a whip stitch. Just really simple. Now I've got much too much yarn, but I guess it's better to have too much than not enough, right? So I don't want that one to go downwards. There we go. So it's just getting the same stitch as that side and not getting your yarn bunched up, and not a knot because you've done too much tail. You need enough to go round. I think I've been a little over generous with my end, but it's only going to cause me problems not you guys. Just make sure that it's nice and snug when you're sewing it together. You don't want it to pull apart. It needs to be nice and secure. Okay, bit boring watching this, isn't it? So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to go all the way along this edge, all the way along this edge. So when you get to the corner, you just sew the corresponding one together all the way around, and I'll catch up with you once I get back to this point here. All right, so I've made it all the way around, and I'm not going to end off, but I am going to just take my darning needle out. I didn't actually. It wasn't too bad getting all the way around, although I did, like I said, leave quite a lot. Right, so now I'm going to bring in another colour. So I'm using this special DK in the colour of Pomegranate, but you can use any little scraps of yarn that you have hanging around. I just need to find the end. Now I can see that. What, is that the one? Yep, there we go. I have found the end of the yarn. So crochet hook at the ready. So we're going to... This is now going to flatten down this way. So we are looking for the next corner across. Okay. So I'm going to turn it and I'm going to insert my hook right in this corner. Not going to be easy because I've made my stitches quite tight. I'm going to get that in easily. There we are. Okay. So I'm just going to attach this yarn here. I'm going to work over the tail, so I'm going to make that nice and snug. I'm going to put in a UK double crochet, which is a single crochet in the US. Okay, so that, and I've cinched that down. As I say, I'm going to work over this tail. Okay, let me just move this slightly, so I want you to see this. Okay, so I'm going to skip one, and in this stitch I'm just going to, I'm going to put 5 UK half trebles, which is a half double in the US. How many have I done? 4, 5, and then I'm going to just slip stitch into the next stitch. I'm going to skip one and put 5 in the next again. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. I'm not in the same room as before. I've moved into my yarn room. So we're just making the kind of floppy bit on the top of the chicken. Okay, didn't go through. Okay, in the next one we're just going to do a slip stitch. If I can get it in. I think I've got a little bit too much there. So we've got 2. I'm going to do one more. I'm going to skip one and do my working over the tail. 5. And to the next stitch. If I can get it through, that is. It doesn't want to come through. Why are you not wanting to come through? I'm going to do that again. Probably because it's quite a lot of stitches there. That's it. I'm going to slip stitch into the next one. And I'm going to end off. There we are. Got my little cheeky scissors. Can end off there, and I'm going to sew both of those in, so that'll be cool. Don't worry about those. I'm going to make sure I sew this as well, because you know I don't want anything kind of to happen to that. So this is the top part. going to get our yellow, so I'm going to remove this colour. And now I've got to make a beak. So I'm going to go into the very next stitch, which is this one here. I'm going to try and get in there. There we are. Pull out some of my yellow, which I don't need much. Okay, so basically just need a point. So I'm going to, oh yeah, I did get it through, but it's gone again. Cinch that down. I'm going to make a UK double US single in that stitch, and one in the next stitch, one in the next stitch. I'm going to lift this and carry it up with me, turning my work. I'm not going to do a chain, but I'm going to work over this tail, and I'm going to just double crochet in the US, single crochet UK, 3 together. And then I'm just going to end off. So I need to pull that because that was making that bulge a little bit. Now I'm going to cut this and end off, and I'm going to sew those in. So we have the top of our chicken, we have a beak, which is nice and pointy. Now we've got to stuff our poor little chickie. Let's move this yarn out the way. Okay, so now we've moved our yarn out the way, and I will sew these in. It's the only real sewing that we will have to do. And you can, if you want, add some eyes at this stage. Now, I'm not sure how successful this will be because I have some eyes that I do sell in my shop, and I've not used them before, but here they are. So I could try and give my little chickie an eye. So I'm going to just pop it through, making sure I go through there. Let's see what this looks like. I don't know if I'm in the right place, actually. Let's see. I think it may be this way. That one. There we go. Try and go through there so that it goes through to the other side. There we are. Never used these yet. So, and then you can put the back on and pop that in. And she's got an eye. Look at that. Okay, so I'm going to do the same to the other side. Try and get it even. Oh, is it even? It's got to be there, hasn't it? Yep, so into this. I don't want to tangle my yarn up. Into this stitch here. Got to put it through the stitch because this square does have some holes, and so you can do this with any square. It doesn't have to be this square. You can make 2 squares of any that you like. So there we go. She's got eyes. I'm going to move these out of the way because I'm going to lose them otherwise. Beautiful blue eyes she has. Look at that. So yeah, these are quite holy, but you don't have to use this. You can use any square to make this with. So at this point, I now need to stuff this chicken. So I'm going to stuff it with this yarn because I don't need this yarn anymore, and it is it's just kind of spare yarn, but you can use the wadding that everybody uses, the filler. That's no problem at all. But the reason I like to use yarn is if you use this one, the ends are not really going to poke through, and neither is any of the kind of fluffy material. But I do have to try and keep that out because I'm going to sew the bottom of this girl. Okay, so that's that. I need to get some more going. I'm just winding it around my hand very loosely because I don't want it to be all tight and bulky, but this is a very long process. All I'm doing is winding it around my hand nice and loose. It keeps wanting to move my chicken, so I'm going to pause it then while I'm doing this because it's quite a long process, but you want to have it so it's quite stuffed but not fit to burst in. So I'm going to pause the video then, and once I have enough of my stuffing in there, I will come straight back to you. Okay, so I've put quite a bit in there. It's not overstuffed, but there is a fair amount in there. So this is my yarn that I've been sewing up with. So I'm just going to push that in, and I'm going to leave this for now in case I need to add a bit more. And I'm going to just cut this because obviously it's just an end. We don't need it there confusing me, do we? No, we don't. Okay, so I'm going to push all that stuff back in. As you can see, it's quite, you know, stuffed but not overly. But the first thing I want to do is get rid of these ends, and I'm going to hide them inside here. So that's why I should tackle this first, to be honest with you. It's easier that way, I think. And what I'm going to do is just go in to this, and I'm going to go all the way along there as if I was just sewing my ends in exactly the same way as normal. I might go through one more time. Easier said than done. It's very tight. And then I'm just going to pop that down into my chicken. And then if I grab this, just pull it out, now it's embedded inside. I'm going to do the same with this one. So much easier to do this at this stage, I think, than trying to do it at the end. So again, I'm going to just go in and through my stitches, and I'm going to just go through a couple of them and then straight down into my chicken. Again, easier said than done. Right then. And then this one can get cut off, so it's quite long. Sorry about bashing the camera, but I haven't got the space in here that I have. I've got to do the same to the beak. Okay, so we're just going to do the same to the beak, and I'm just going to take it straight through. It's a little boring to watch, so I'm going to pause it and I'll come back to you once I've done it. But when you're doing that, just be careful that you don't alter the shape. You want it to be pointed like this, so be careful how you pull on that yarn. Okay, so I've done that. I've got my little bit at the top of my chicken. I've got a nice pointy beak. I'm going to shove this stuff back in, and now I'm going to close this. So you want to make sure you're not closing it this way. Well, it still does look like a chicken, but we're closing it this way. So this should be in the middle. And then once I've got almost closed, I'm just going to put some more stuff in. Now I've reattached my darning needle, and I'm just going to do the same that I did before. Just whip stitch to close this up. But for the first few stitches, I'm not going to be as tight with those as I was, because I need to sew in to actually crochet into those. So from this one, we'll get a little tighter. Now it is normal for it to look as if it goes down, because you're obviously dealing with corners there, so that's fine. It will look like that. So I'm just going to close this end. Hopefully you can see exactly what I'm doing. You can. Okay. Tiny little emotional support chicken. Okay, so we're nearly at the end now. And all I'm going to do to get myself back, and I took the liberty of cutting some of my my excess, and I'm hoping that I haven't done that too much and I haven't got to attach another, because obviously the more that you attach, the more you have to sew in. So I'm just going to go inside. I'm going to come back out here, because obviously it's on the inside. It's not going to be seen. Be careful not for that to... There we go. So it's right on the inside. I'll pull it tight without pulling that in. Okay, so now I'm going to work along this side. So I'm just going to go back where I was, so that it's on the right side. Again, loosely for the first stitch, because I'm going to crochet into those stitches and I don't want them to be mega tight. And then from that moment I will tighten up my stitches. Okay, this one will be my last one for a second while I assess my stuffing. So I do need to get a little bit more, so I need my end. Where have I put that? Here it is. Now it's actually going to be easier now, I suppose, to manipulate and push that in. So I'm just going to do it in bits, because otherwise if I make it too stiff, I must stop doing that. If I make it too stiff, I won't get it in. So I'm going to push that to this end. I'm going to push a little bit more in. Now, of course, as I said, you can use that wadding if you want, but this is just, I don't need to buy it. I've got this, and it's not like I will use this yarn for much. And plus, I do have rather a lot of it. It's just very inexpensive yarn. More did it again. Oh my god, I do need to stop bashing you. It's because there's a lack of space in here, that's what it is. And hopefully, as it's a gimbal, it will smooth that out and you'll say, well, what is she talking about? Okay, so I think we're stuffed enough. Now I'm going to get my my needle, and once it's gone to the end, I can manipulate that a little bit more to go into this end, which seems a bit empty. Just push it around and hopefully it will all be enough in there now. Sure there will be. Just go right to the end of my chicken. And then we need to end off. So what I should have done there is make a knot. I'm going to do it under here, so hopefully it won't be visible. And I do that by going back through the same loop, pulling it tight, and now we just need to bury some of this. So I'm going to go along through there, and then back, and then just pop it inside. I'm going to take it through. Obviously I don't want to pull it tight, but I do want to get rid of that. So if I pull that a little tight, then cut it, that will disappear inside. And there we have our little chickie. She's looking good. Look at that. Sorry I haven't got much space to open this camera right up. I'll need that in a minute, so let's not hide it. So yeah, here's our chicken. Isn't she adorable? But what's missing? We haven't got any little feathers at the back. So we're going to bring back in the pomegranate, and we're just going to make her a couple of little tail feathers that look super cute. I'm going to pull out quite a bit of yarn. There we go. So hopefully I have enough. So looking here at the stitches that we hopefully have a little looser, there's our middle. I want the next stitch across. I'm just going to bring a loop through there, and I'm going to do one chain, secure it down. I'm going to work over this tail. I'm going to chain 3, if I can get it through. 1, that first one isn't a chain. 2, actually I'm not going to work over that just like that. Bear with me a second, guys. Undo that one. Just going to work over it at the bottom. That's easier. It will confuse you if I did it the other way. So that doesn't count, that first one. I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to do a UK double treble, which is a treble crochet in the US in the same spot, which is pulling through 3 times. I'm going to chain 3. And I'm going to slip stitch back in that same space Sorry, yarn, put yarn round for no reason there. Okay, so that will look like this. And then I'm going to slip stitch to the next stitch, which would be my centre. Slip stitch, chain 3. We're going to repeat that just as we did there. We're going to put this in the same spot. Chain 3. Slip stitch into the same space. And then we're going to slip stitch into the next stitch. Chain 3. Same again in the stitch here. Trying to make it as tight as possible. Chain 3. And slip stitch in the same space. Try not to bring up another colour with it. And now I'm going to end off by doing one chain, pulling it really low. Nice long tail for sewing in, and pull it out. So we have our little feathers. How cute are they? So now that we have to do is do the same as we did before by sewing these ends in and getting rid of them, and then we can push this stuff in. Isn't that gorgeous? Isn't she cute? A little baby emotional support chicken. I guess you don't need, well, we'll do it. I'm just going to pause it then while I sew these ends in, and we'll look at her in all her glory. Okay, so here she is, all done. And how adorable is she? So all of this is for in my shop, hobbybox.co.uk, including these little safety eyes, which I do 3 sizes of. So yeah, I do ship worldwide. If you haven't found my shop already, and it's weight-based shipping, so the less the order, the less the shipping is. But I love her. She's amazing. Hope you like that. So that's my granny square and the little project that go along with it. Hope you have a good day. Bye bye for now.